In this game, I sacked my queen in an official over-the-board chess tournament at the Marshall Chess Club. Let's take a look and see what happened. So my opponent played the Sicilian defense, and G6 means they're going for the accelerated dragon, which is highly dangerous. If I go on and develop normally, I'm going to get crushed in the center of the board. There's going to be attacks that come very quickly. It's not good. I learned my lesson too many times. So for that reason, if they delay knight f6 and they play g7 first, g6 first, they're going for the accelerated or hyper-accelerated dragon. Therefore, we play c4, the Maraxi bind, and that's a way of killing the position, basically taking out all of the volatility in the position. Trust me, you don't want to invite the accelerated dragon into your house. Whether it's a chess dragon or a real dragon, they're both bad. So, okay, anyway, we have a normal, typical game now. The game is much slower, much more calm. And here, my opponent strikes first with knight e4. Now, the purpose behind knight e4 is that the bishop's hitting the knight. So the knight and the queen were hitting the knight, and my bishop and queen are hitting the knight. So that's two pieces on two defenders. However, now this knight takes e4, uncovers a discovered attack on my knight on d4. So basically, if I just take, black just wins a pawn. So I didn't like that. However, I saw this tactic, and I had a tactic of my own, try to spot it. Always pause your videos at the certain parts of the game where there's a tactical shot. So here, I played knight e6, uncovering an attack on the queen and hitting the rook. So what did my opponent do? He took the knight first because he's attacking the queen. It's an in-between move. Now if I take the queen, he takes my queen, and I'm going to be losing material here. So I had a plan for that, so I simply just took back the knight, and I'm just taking back the knight, hitting the queen again for good measure, but I still have this fork on pre. So he had to move the queen away, which he did, and then I took the rook. So I got the rook exchange, he got a pawn, so I'm slightly up. So that's better than being down a pawn. That's why I went into that variation, and the computer says it's best. So here I played c5 to try to get rid of my double isolated weak pawns here. My opponent does not oblige right away, but I take this pawn, and now he takes the pawn. And here I just brought my queen into the game to attack the knight, and my opponent defended. I brought my rook into position to attack. Always put your rooks on open files. My opponent attacked my queen. I came back, and now when my opponent brought the queen to g8, I saw a potential tactic here. So I played rook b5 to get the queen off the defense of the d8 square, which is what happened, and they took the pawn, which is what I wanted. And now here comes the queen sacrifice. This is what I saw in my head. So I played queen takes c6, and I thought, look at me, I'm a genius. I patted myself on the back. I felt great. My opponent's like, okay, I'll just take her queen. And I'm like, well, I have checkmate coming. However, it was a good sacrifice. However, my follow-up was wrong. I actually had to play this rook, and it's mate in 7. Now, I played this rook thinking it's totally fine, and it's the same thing, but it's completely different. I'm going to show you why. My opponent has one move blocks. Then I have bishop h6. So I have checkmate coming. Rook takes f8 is checkmate. The only defense is rook c8, which I saw. Now, I can't take here because he just follows me and I lose the game. But I saw I had rook b8. And now I'm like, okay, I'm totally winning here. Now, all I have to do here is after whatever black does, if black takes, I just take back and there's no way to stop checkmate. And now, if black played a random move, I mean, I could just take. He takes. Now I follow him and we have checkmate. But here black played a defensive move I did not see. Queen b1 check, so I have to answer this, and attacking my rook. If I simply just block, he just takes my rook, and it's game over for me. So I have to, after queen b1, I have to take the queen. Then black takes my rook, and what happens is black is up 2 pawns now, so I'm in trouble here. So what I did was I just avoided the exchange of bishops here, and then my opponent just moved around a little bit. Let me get that pawn on c5, which he shouldn't have done. I protected my pawn on c3. He goes for another exchange of bishops. I'm like, no, thank you. Then he takes this pawn. I take the pass pawn because that would be a real big problem in the endgame. And then he sets back to g7. I set back. And now he played so well. He played outstanding, saw all my attacks, defended great. and then played rook c2. And this is often what happens in chess. If you force your opponent to find the best variations, they'll find them. But when they do blunder, most of the times they step into the blunder. So in this position, my opponent stepped into the blunder. I wasn't threatening anything. I had potential threats, but in the position, but I wasn't threatening anything. He just he blundered himself. So he came here to rook c2, and that leaves open the tactic I was setting up the entire game. It all restarts, and now it works because the only thing he can do is block with the bishop. And now after bishop h6, there's nothing he can do to stop mate on f8. He played this, he played on, and I just threw in a checkmate. And that is the game. Anyway, if you found that video helpful, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next time. Go play some chess.